Who rightly predicted the future post-apocalyptic state of humanity? George Orwell or Aldous Huxley? 1984 or Brave New World? This is a popular question in dystopian fiction. Many think we are on the cusp of post-humanity, and such people are looking for a prophet to tell them of the future, to tell them of what may come next, give them a glimpse. Will it be a bleak world that limits all sense but hate, 1984? Or will it be a strange world that indulges in carnality, Brave New World? They want to know. We all want to know, to a point. The problem that I have with all of this is not that people think, fear, or even hope humanity is in a place where of inevitable transformation or even degradation. The problem that I have in the initial concern, the initial questioning about who had it right, is that I think anyone who attempts to weigh it in such a way has missed the very purpose and the very point of both Orwell and Huxley's works. I think anyone who looks at it, Orwell and Huxley, and causes them to stand in opposition to one another have completely missed the very intent of both texts. And what they've done is they've looked too hard and overlooked the means by focusing too hard on the ends. When we think of the end of the world, we often imagine a vast wasteland of ash and corpses spread about all over, like Cormac McCarthy's The Road. But what is it that caused such an apocalypse? I think most of us would say war, probably nuclear. What kind of government would allow such a thing to happen? We've feared those types of things since the 1950s, but they've not come. Why? What kind of government or what kind of people would allow such a thing to happen? I think most would say something akin to the totalitarian regime in Orwell's 1984. But then there are others who might actually think something more along the lines of Brave New World. Something more like a strange mixture of comfort, indulgence, and societal obedience. And some would even say that that's closer to what we see today. If the apocalypse were to happen today, the people who caused it would have been caught up in overindulgence. Now, I cannot say that either is wrong. I don't know how it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, but I can say that both miss a final step, a final question. What were these people thinking? What kind of worldview allowed this apocalyptic world to take place? What does the post-apocalyptic mindset look like that leads to the apocalypse? That leads to the loose grip on reality that begins the end of humanity. Apocalypse will not come from guns, missiles, or any such weapon. Apocalypse will come when people, the masses, let go of objective reality and therein their individuality. When people let go of their free will for the collective. Guns and wars and missiles may come from it, but they will not be the cause. It will be the individual who lets go of individuality for the sake of the collective. This is the idea in Orwell's 1984 and Huxley's Brave New World. Our society thinks opposite. We don't believe that objective reality is what holds us firmly in our humanity. We think that we need to subject all reality to our own thoughts and to our own processes, to our own truth, to my truth. And that's what makes me an individual, when the reality is something much deeper than that, something far beyond humanity. It is not the subjugation of truth to what I want it to be that makes me an individual. It is who I am in reference to a truth that is beyond me, that makes me the individual, and my free will against that. Our society thinks opposite. Reality is subject to each person's own view of reality, and I think that's ridiculous. This is untrue and dangerous even. It is this subjective state of mind that, according to Orwell and Huxley, leads to the end of individuality in general. And as a result, the end of humanity. Reality is reliant on something higher, unchangeable, an unchangeable first principle and truth. Apocalypse does not necessarily require the destruction of mankind physically, rather the loss of that which makes man man, individual imagination and reason. That is what is apocalypse. That's where it comes from. This is where Orwell and Huxley meet. A conditioned man is not a man at all. Both those in 1984 and those in Brave New World are conditioned for the sake of community. When community is advanced at the sacrifice of the individual, mankind will have progressed beyond what historically defines humanity, free will. Conditioned morality, love, hate, imagination, reason, empathy, desire, affection, etc. When the individual disappears, people will become unrecognizable. This will be apocalypse, the unveiling. Orwell's 1984 focuses on destroying objective reality and therefore the ability to criticize. Huxley's Brave New World focuses on destroying individuality and therefore free will. Both are different ways to bring about some form of conditioning. Objectivity and individuality are sacrificed on the altar of the collective in both 1984 and Huxley's Brave New World. In 1984, reality is inside the skull. In Brave New World, the individual's mind is the suggestions of the state, and the suggestions of the state are the individual's mind. Both are perfect prophets of a single truth. Apocalypse, the end of humanity, will come at the hands of man for the sake of mankind.